The No Fate channel, checking in. It is wintertime up here in New England, which is synonymous with bulking season. So I thought it would be very fitting on today's episode of the Supplement Review to go over a few tips on how to bulk properly, review Nutrabio's Extreme Mass and their chocolate flavor, and talk about what separates this mass builder from so many of the others on the market today. On this series, I review a supplement every episode to help you decide if it is right for your fitness goals, your health needs, and most importantly, that hard-earned money. In a previous video, I reviewed Nutrabio's Extreme Mass and their delicious strawberry pastry flavor. And it is the middle of winter, the middle of bulking season. I thought it would be an ideal time to taste test Nutrabio's Extreme Mass chocolate flavor and give you my 3 tips on how to properly bulk. Hopefully they'll be informative. So let's start off with tip number 1. This is the biggest tip by far, and it's a tip that you really need to listen to very, very closely, and that is you should be getting as many of your calories, as much of your food from whole food sources during a bulk. I know we only do reviews of supplements on this series, so it's kind of counterintuitive. However, you want to be getting as much of that food from whole food sources as possible. So why do I bother reviewing these mass gainers, right? Well, the reality is, even though you want to get as much of your food from whole food sources, oftentimes we just don't have the time to eat the food. We don't have time to prepare the food, and our lives are just so hectic. The only thing we have time for is to drink extra calories to make sure that we are in a caloric surplus. Before I give you tip number 2, let's talk about what you probably came here for. How does Nutrabio's Extreme Mass chocolate actually taste? It comes in 3 flavors. As I mentioned, strawberry pastry, absolutely delicious. I personally have found that Nutrabio's chocolate flavor tastes like a light chocolate. It mixes well and is a good chocolate flavor. Personally, I liked to mix it with less water. So per scoop, I mixed it with 4 ounces and found that it gave it a bit more of a creamy chocolate flavor than if I mixed it with 6 per scoop. So as an example, 1 scoop, 4 ounces, 2 scoops, 8 ounces, etc. Overall, I was happy with this chocolate flavor. And let's talk about tip number 2. If you're bulking, if you're on a bulk, then you probably already know that you need to be in a caloric surplus. You need to be taking in more calories than your body is expending on a daily basis. But what tip number 2 is all about is making sure that you split those calories up throughout the entire day. Some people will get these huge meals in and they think that because they're on a bulk, they can just put all those calories in to one huge, massive meal. And I would tell you that that will work, but not as effectively as taking the total amount of calories that you need for the entire day and spreading them out throughout the day as many times as possible. A lot more smaller meals than just a few big, massive meals. And I think, at least for me, and I think for many of you as well, you're going to find that the quality of weight that you put on is going to be improved. You're going to be getting more muscle to fat, and that's what you really want when you're bulking. You want to put on that muscle and minimize that fat so that when you eventually cut down a little bit to get ready for that springtime, that you're not having to just remove tons and tons of fat. Some people, when they bulk, they put on all fat, and that's not the right way to do it. Okay, you can't flex fat. So really spread those calories out throughout the entire day as best as possible. And that's going to lead in to why when I talk about the ingredients, which I'm going to do right now, we're going to talk about a half serving. A half serving is 2 scoops. 1 full serving is massive. Even if you take a full serving throughout the day, I would recommend doing 2 scoops at a time and break that up. So let's talk about the ingredients. So at 2 scoops, half a serving, Nutrabio's 6-pound Extreme Mass has 31.4 servings. So let's dive into the macros, and then we're going to get really down into the weeds of the specific ingredients. 1 half serving is 330 calories, only 3 grams of fat, 50 grams of carbohydrates. 3 of those are from fiber, 3 of those are from sugar, and then 27 grams of protein. And that leads us to tip number 3, and probably one of the biggest tips that so many people overlook during a bulk. When you doing a bulk, so many people, especially some younger guys, they think they can do a dirty bulk. They can just eat whatever they want and it doesn't matter. Calories are calories. And I'm here to tell you that that's a lie. If you're going to McDonald's and you're just chugging down sugar and just a whole bunch of junk food, it's going to end up on your body as fat and you're going to be paying for it later when you're having a difficult time removing that fat without stripping away that muscle. So quality in the foods that you eat and quality in the supplements that you take. And that's why I'm a huge Nutrabio fanboy, because they put in some of the best quality ingredients that you can find. And then we're going to dive in right now to what separates Nutrabio's Extreme Mass from so much of the competition out there. There's so many mass gainers out there, and most of them are junk. So let's talk about the carbs. 50 grams of carbs per half a serving. So many companies will do one of two things when they are putting in carbohydrates. First and foremost, to be cheap about it, they tend to dump in sugar. Okay, you don't want sugar in your mass gainer. That's going to spike your insulin, and it's going to, again, tell your body to store fat, not trying to build muscle. It's going to tell you to store fat. The second trick that a lot of supplement companies will do is that they throw in dextrin. They throw in maltodextrin, but they throw in the cheap version. Okay, there's multiple versions of maltodextrin, and there's cheap versions that when your body ingests them, it acts almost like sugar in the body. It acts almost like sugar, almost identical to sugar, spiking your insulin, causing you to put on fat. Nutrabio fully discloses on their label what they do. They put in maltodextrin, but they take it a step further. They tell you the quality of the maltodextrin that's in here, and their quality of maltodextrin is preferred because it is going to give you a slower, longer release window that's going to allow your body to use those calories without just jamming up that insulin level and causing your body to store all those extra calories as fat, rather than actually use them to build that muscle that I'm sure we're all looking for. Secondly, the second thing that supplement companies do to save on money is that they cheap out on the protein. They will typically throw in whey protein concentrate alone, and then on top of it, they don't tell you the quality of whey protein concentrate. Keep in mind, there's a huge range from like WPC 30 or 40, I'm not low, to all the way up to WPC 80, which is the top tier whey protein concentrate, before it then kicks over to whey protein isolate. So sticking with quality ingredients, Nutrabio, as you can imagine, they tell you they put in whey protein concentrate 80, which is something that so many companies don't tell you. They will not tell you the quality of the protein. Nutrabio also takes it a step further, working on the premise that you want to have a long digestion window. They throw in casein protein, and I'm going to put all these ingredients up here. Again, so everything in this bottle, everything in Nutrabio's Extreme Mass is dedicated to making sure you're not putting on fat, to give you that long, slow release window of both protein and carbohydrates. And again, it's all about quality, not just quantity. So many of you young guys especially, you're just putting in so much crap into your bodies. You want to be mindful of what you're taking in. Read the back of the label, do your research. On this channel, I never shy away from cost, and of course, I'm not going to talk about quality without mentioning cost. If you head over to Nutrabio.com, this 6-pound Extreme Mass container costs $48 retail. We never pay retail. You use my code, NOFATE247, to get yourself 10% off. Of course, I do get a kickback on that code. It does help out the channel. That brings it down to $43.20 for 31.4 2-scoop servings. That equates to $1.37 for 2 scoops. Very, very reasonable price considering the quality of the materials that they're putting in here, and when you consider what 2 things on the dollar menu at McDonald's is going to cost you. Simple as that. If you came this far in the video and have any questions regarding Nutrabio's Extreme Mass or bulking in general, drop them in the comments below and I will get them answered as quickly as I can. Hey, do me a favor, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and ring that notification bell. As usual, thank you for watching, and don't save anything for the trip back. I am dedicated to helping you be a great parent to your children and still accomplish your own personal goals. I provide ideas and insights to help you save time, money, and your sanity. 3 things that are in short supply for every parent out there.